welcome to the channel. I'm back with another video. This one's going to be a little bit different, breaking down a tournament takedown that I was able to take down this year in MLB. This is premiering a little bit after, I was able to actually do it. It's back in April. This is something I've been intending to do for quite some time. Upload these videos, teach you guys how I was able to take down a tournament, and then as I continue, if I take down more, I'll be adding to the playlist, give you guys some strategies, and let you know that it is possible if you dedicate yourself learning some of the strategies to DFS. This video specifically is going to pertain to MLB DFS, which is, for a long time, the most profitable sport that I have partaken in, and I definitely think I can give you guys some good advice as to how you can succeed at it as well. This will be breaking down just one lineup that I was able to win the most with on this particular night. I put this lineup in multiple contests. I took down multiple contests. So we're just going to break down the one contest where I won the most money. And these videos will only be uploaded when I come in first. I've been playing DFS since 2015. I've had many incidents where I've taken down a pretty large cash prize in second or third place, but as far as this is concerned, I'm only going to be uploading these videos when I come in the #1 spot, and I'm only going to be uploading them when they're in large field GPPs. Any single entry stuff or anything like that, I'm not going to really be uploading to this because it's just, to be quite frank, not as hard as these large field GPPs. So I really want to break down these ones where everything came together. I was able to come in first place, win that cash prize, and teach you guys some methods and some theories and my thought process behind it, to hopefully help you guys become better MLB DFS players as far as this video. And then moving forward, if there's any other sports where I'm able to come in first in a large field GPP, I'll also be breaking down the particular strategy that I used in that sport and uploading it to my tournament takedown playlist. So with that being said, before we get into this breakdown, if you guys do enjoy this content at any point in this video, if you please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be uploading all sorts of different content on this channel throughout different seasons, breaking down DFS slates to help you guys become better players, help you win some money. That's the goal on this channel. And if you want to see more content like this at the end of the video, you really enjoyed the breakdown throughout, go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me you want to see some more content similar to the breakdown strategies, and maybe I can develop another playlist. But for now, this is the start to the KJK DFS tournament takedown playlist. Excited to break down how I was able to take down this one. And let's get into the video. All right, guys, so here is the 100K Wednesday MLB Monster contest that I was able to come in first in. You can see here, KJK003 is my username at the top here with 185.9. I was able to secure first place by, a pretty wide margin for the most part. Sometimes these contests come down to, 1 point, and they can be really, really close. So the fact that I was able to separate myself by 10 or more is pretty significant, and sometimes people win by even more. So that does vary, but this is how I was able to do it. On this particular night, I went with the Atlanta Braves stack and the Los Angeles Dodgers stack. You can see that David Peterson was my pitcher. He went out there and put up a big performance, 10 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, 1 win, 1 quality start, 1 earned run. Pretty much nailed every single thing that you're looking for on a pitch out of a pitcher on FanDuel, outside of the fact that he allowed the 1 earned run, but you can live with that. Number one thing that I guess we could start off with is know the scoring. Know the scoring of the site that you play on. This is a FanDuel tournament. It's very important on FanDuel that your pitcher gets lots of strikeouts, goes 6 innings pitched, and gets the win. Those are the 3 things, 3 main check marks that I'm really looking for out of my pitcher on FanDuel. When you get the 6 innings pitched, you get the quality start. That's a 4-point bonus. When you get the win, you get 6 points. And then, of course, any third of an inning pitch, you get 1 point, and any strikeout that you get 3 points. So, kind of an obvious piece of advice, I would say, but know the site that you're playing on. Pull up the scoring, learn what you're really targeting. You can see here, as far as pitches are concerned, earned runs is -3, innings pitched is 3. So, for each third of an inning, that's 1. The quality start, you get 4. The strikeouts, you get 3, and the win, you get 6. Seems like a simple concept, but I do think that sometimes people are just going out there watching picks videos, not really thinking about the particular site that they're playing on and the lineup construction that they should be aiming for. So that's very important to be knowing. David Peterson in this tournament was 1% owned. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the second place lineup just to compare here. He also went with David Peterson, actually, and was able to get up to the top. And he also went with a Braves Dodgers stack. So very similar build as far as first and second place on this particular slate. And David Peterson was only 1% owned. Going to the third guy, let's see if we can find a more popular pitcher. So Carlos Rodon was 10% owned. He actually went out there and threw a no-hitter on this particular day, and I was still able to beat this lineup. So that just goes to show you sometimes, pricing matters. David Peterson's only 6'4". Carlos Rodon was 8'3". I was able to fit in some bigger bats that had some bigger performances due to the fact that I had some more salary to work with, and that was really the difference as far as pulling away there. Because, of course, David Peterson probably wasn't the #1 guy to be looking to on this particular slate. Now, how I got to David Peterson is the next question that I'll be answering here. Pulling up my sheets here, I offer these over on Patreon on my premium content, so you guys are getting a little sneak peek here. I do have some formulas inserted, so these stats are actually updated to the date that I'm recording this video, so we're going to go ahead and view the version that was, valid on the date that I participated in this contest, which was on April 14th. So unfortunately, I can't restore this version and bring it up the chart as far as the pretty color-coded version, because when I do it, the formulas are going to kick in and we're not going to get the actual data that I was working off. So I apologize for the grayscaled version that you're seeing here. But if you look on the sheet, you can see David Peterson was taking on Philadelphia. He had a 19.9% K rate, an 11.2 swinging strike rate overall, an 18.1% K rate against righties, and a 27.3% K rate against lefties. So overall, he didn't have the most dominant K stuff. However, when I pull up my team hitting data sheet that I offer over here on Patreon as well, at the time, you can see if we go down to the Philadelphia Phillies, they were striking out a lot against left-handed pitching. So David Peterson was a left-handed hurler. The Philadelphia Phillies had a 30.4% K rate against lefties. That was, I believe, like the 5th worst in the league at the time. And the lineup was slumping, and I knew it was an opportunity that I could possibly take advantage of. And then when you factor in that David Peterson was pitching in the New York Stadium, that made me like him even more as far as Citi Field's concerned in the Mets. Pulling up the diagram here. This is something that I always talk about in my videos, but you want to obviously target pitchers in good pitchers park and batters in good hitting parks. So Citi Field is a very good pitchers park. Color-coded data sheet here telling you about how it fares for both sides of hitters. You have the left-handed batters, the right-handed batters, and you see a lot of red. So that was also something that made me feel a lot better about David Peterson, because he does have a bit of a walk issue when he's struggling. And so, you kind of need him to have some room for error taking on this Philadelphia squad. I'm hoping for a lot of strikeouts. But then also, it allowed me to fit in a lot of hitters. Now, one thing that I always do promote when it comes to playing MLB DFS is stacking. I believe in stacking to the fullest. There are some guys out there that will say, why do you have to stack every time? You could play better guys with better salary, which I understand their point, and they're not necessarily wrong. But the math speaks for itself, and in general, when you are stacking, you are providing your lineup with the most possible upside. Why is this? Because when you're stacking, if let's say you have the first, the second, the third, and the fourth hitter in the lineup that you're stacking, and the 1 through 3 hitters all walk, and then the fourth guy comes up and hits a grand slam, you're getting points for all the RBIs for the guys on base. You're getting points for the runs for all the guys on base. So once again, we'll pull up, the scoring as far as Fanduel is concerned, as far as hitting. So, you're getting 12 points for the home run that your guy just hit. You're getting 3.2 points for each guy that scores in your stack. So if it's a grand slam and you have all the guys in the stack, obviously you're getting 3.2 4 times. You're getting RBIs for each RBI, so you're getting 3.5 4 times. And then all of these points combined are clearly going to optimize your ability to climb the leaderboards. So I don't think it's a very hard concept. There are times where you're going to have to deal with salary, and this is a perfect example because you can see in my lineup I had Ender and Ciarte. He was 2K, and I believe he was in the 9th spot in this particular game. So I had the 1, 2, and 3 hitters, I believe, on the Braves. It could have been like 2, 3, 4 or something, and I can actually go ahead and pull up the exact lineup for you guys so we can put some context on this. So here is the lineup that they went ahead and rolled out. So you can see I did have the 1 through 3 hitters: Ronald Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna in the 3 spot, and then I had Inciarte in the 8 spot. They had the pitcher that had a hit in the 9 spot, so Inciarte wasn't quite in the 9 spot, but the 8 spot. And this lineup in particular fit perfectly as far as salary. I had not a single dollar left on the table. I had to put these guys in play to even be able to fit the lineup in. And when I was able to fit it, I was very happy because not only did I have the top of the Atlanta lineup and then a wraparound stack. So how that's going to work, obviously we talked about stacking. I have the guy at the bottom of the order. So if Ender and Ciarte is able to get on base a few times, and then the guys at the top of the order come up and they hit him in, of course I'm going to get the points all combined like we discussed earlier. You know, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at the top of the order. So if Ciarte gets on and there's 1 or 2 outs, you know, less than 3 outs, and Acuna gets a chance to hit, of course he's going to have an opportunity to hit him in. I'm going to get points for the RBIs. I'm going to get points for the runs. You know, whatever the case may be, if Acuna hits a home run, I get points for both RBIs, both runs, etc. I think you get that concept now. And so that's called a wraparound stack, and that's an opportunity that you can definitely take advantage of. If you like guys at the top of the order and you can't fit in an entire stack at the top of the order, you can put a guy at the bottom of the order, and it's actually very good for your lineup because it's contrarian. You can see looking up and down my lineup, if you're not familiar with DFS, each one of these guys are going to be owned a certain amount in tournaments. The higher owned they are, the less likely it is that you're going to pass a bunch of people when they do good because a bunch of other people have them, obviously. The lower owned they are, not a lot of people have them in the contest, the more likely you're going to climb the leaderboards if they do something. So in this particular case, I had Ender and Ciarte, who was only 2% owned. He put up 12.2 points. That 12.2 points is a lot more significant than the 12.2 points that Corey Seager scored because he was 40% owned, if you follow me. The lower owned they are, the bigger performance they have, the more leverage you have on the field, the more likely you're going to climb the leaderboards. And obviously, the number 1 leverage guy that I had in my lineup in this, you know, contest was David Peterson. The guy went up there and put up 55 FanDuel points as a starting pitcher at only a $6,400 salary, and he was only 1% owned. That is a huge leverage. That is a pretty much, you know, one of the sole reasons I was able to come in first. So keep that in mind when you're building your lineups. You don't have to play all low-owned guys. You can if you really like a lineup and they're not going to be owned at all and you want to stack up their lineup. Of course, that's going to be great, even more leverage. But if there's a stack that you really like and they're going to be high-owned, there's ways of playing the popular guys while still getting different. I think this is a perfect lineup to show that. I mean, I had Ronald Acuna Jr., 50% owned, Ozuna, 42% owned, Corey Seager, 40% owned, Freddie Freeman, 42.5% owned. That's some massive ownership on these guys. So I did play some guys that were pretty popular, but I had a nice little blend of a few guys that weren't popular. And, you know, most notably my pitcher, who's one of the most important, if not the most important guy in your lineup as far as FanDuel is concerned, because you only get 1 pitcher. I do believe that bats win tournaments in the end, in most cases, because most of the time your pitcher is going to be somewhat owned. You know, it's very rare that you get an opportunity to pick a guy that's like 1% owned and he puts up this kind of a performance, but it is possible, as seen here. But overall, you know, I do believe that bats win tournaments, and for that reason, I was willing to go down to David Peterson, take a little bit of a sacrifice at the pitcher position, which I really didn't think it was. You know, you wouldn't expect him to go out there and put up 10 Ks in 6-inning pitch, and this was just an absolute gem. But you do think he can get through a few amount of innings, strike some guys out with his Philadelphia lineups, struggles against lefties, and, you know, give you a really solid score at a discount that'll allow you to fit in some expensive bats like Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, Corey Seager. You know, all these guys are very expensive on this slate. They were 3.7 for Seager, 4.5 for Mookie Betts, 4.6 for Ronald Acuna. You know, my lineup was just absolutely stacked with talented hitters. 4-1 for Freddie Freeman, and like I said, there wasn't a single dollar left on the table. So when I was able to fit this in, it was too good to be true as far as the upside, and I really, really liked that. And I had talked about how I liked the ballpark for Peterson as far as pitching, and then, of course, the ballpark for hitters is a thing, but also the matchup. So the Atlanta Braves were taking on Nick Nieder, who, looking at his stuff across the board, once again, I apologize, because typically this would be color-coded in my videos. I just can't show you the previous version with the formulas that are in the chart. But you can see he only had a 13% K rate. That means the ball is going to be put in play a lot. Only a 10.3% K rate against righties, and only a 16% K rate against lefties. Now, he did only give up a 385 slugging to righties, a 476 slugging to lefties. So he really struggles against left-handed hitting in particular. But you can see I have a nice little blend of multiple hitters. Ronald Acuna Jr., I mean, when a guy just doesn't strike anyone out and you have to throw to Ronald Acuna Jr., of course, that might not go too well for you because the guy's an elite hitter. He hit 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 3 runs, and a double in this game. So You know, when you got a big power hitter where really all you're concerned about is him striking out, and you have a guy that doesn't strike anyone out, I'm willing to take a risk on him with the low K rate. And then, of course, Vegas data and all that stuff is factored in here as well. There's a reason that Atlanta and the Dodgers were popular on this slate. They both had high implied run totals. So you follow me there. And then as far as the Dodgers are concerned, they were taking on John Gray in Dodger Stadium. So not quite as appealing as it would be if it was Coors Field. We always talk about ballparks. But with that being said, John Gray, once again, not exactly the most talented pitcher, and we're talking about a very good lineup. A 404 slugging given up to righties and a 466 slugging given up to lefties. I mean, the guy's not bad whatsoever, but he's really not the greatest. And the Colorado Rockies bullpen is also really bad. Pulling up my bullpen data sheet here. Once again, these numbers aren't what they are now. Of course, this was in April. We didn't have the largest sample size. A lot of these bullpens had only been pitching, 40, 29 innings or so. But we do have an idea of barrel percentage and that kind of thing. And the Colorado bullpen really wasn't the greatest. When you're looking at their xFIP and stuff, they're not one of the best bullpens in the league. So I felt really good targeting the Rockies bullpen as well. And that's something that I always think about when stacking up these lineups as well when it comes to baseball. Of course, you want to target these pitchers that aren't really good as far as starters are concerned. But if you're able to target a starter that's not that great, and then the bullpen behind him isn't great either, that can really lead to some big upside. And yeah, so I think I've covered most of the bases here. The one thing I didn't pull up is both ballparks as far as the hitting environment. As far as the Dodgers hitting environment in LA, you can see Dodger Stadium. Yellow and green going on as far as home runs are concerned. You can live with that. It's the ones that have the red color coded out there as far as home runs. I mean, you got to learn the dimensions of stadiums when you're playing MLB DFS. It'll go a long way for you. And also hitting weather. I can't pull up on the fly what the hitting weather was like on this particular date, but I can guarantee compared to the rest of the games on the slate, you're looking for warm temperatures, humidity, and winds blowing out if possible. And I can guarantee, that was factored into my decision as well here, playing both of these lineups in Atlanta and LA at that time of the year in April. I think that both of those stadiums were probably a little warmer than some of the stadiums that we were seeing elsewhere around the country. So, and then as far as the Atlanta Braves Stadium is concerned, you can see also a pretty decent hitting ballpark. Some yellow going on, some green going on. Not enough to deter me from a very good, talented stack like the Atlanta Braves. So, a lot of times when it comes to teams like this, the only thing that'll deter you is if they're going to a really bad hitting environment, something like maybe San Francisco or Miami Marlins ballpark. Not the best. So, yeah, that is how I was able to take down this tournament. The first place prize was $30,000, so was able to win, factoring all this stuff. You need upside out of your pitcher as far as FanDuel is concerned. You need him to go 6 innings. On DraftKings, things can get a little bit different, so make sure that you know the format that you're playing as far as DraftKings is concerned. A little bit of a tip to you guys as far as pitching is concerned. You want a guy with really good ground ball, fly ball rates. You want a guy that doesn't walk people. You can go deep into games, and then, of course, the high K rate is factored in as well. It's just not quite as relevant on DraftKings. You really need a quality start out of your guy on DraftKings, and by quality start, I don't mean the metric quality start 6 innings, just like solid all around. On FanDuel, I think you can get away with a little bit more riskier plays that have some K upside. If a guy goes out there and gives up like 5 earned runs, but he's really cheap, and he's able to strike out like 10 hitters on FanDuel, sometimes you can get away with that. So just know the website that you're playing on, know the site, know the format. This is tournaments. I do think that stacking is the way to go in tournaments. I have just always believed that. That's how I've always won the big prizes. That's what I'll continue to preach to you guys because that's what I've learned. That's what I do believe is an optimal lineup. You want to build plus EV lineups, expected value, high upside lineups, and I think that this is how you do it. On FanDuel, I think you want to be building 4-4 stacks like you can see right here that I did. On DraftKings, I think you want to be building either 4-4 stacks or 5-3 stacks. And that's the way you get to the top of the leaderboards, and that's how you win the money. Especially the larger the tournament, the more people that are in it, the even more relevant that a stacking gets. In this tournament, there were 200 people. I was able to come in first. Some of the lower entry tournaments, lower dollar tournaments, you're competing with like 50,000, 100,000 people. You need that correlation. It's going to be very difficult to beat everyone without that correlation. It's possible. You see it all the time. Guys just throwing random guys and, you know, they go off and they're able to climb the leaderboards. I'm not saying it's not possible. If you don't believe in stacking, that's fine. I'm just telling you my honest input as far as how I play MLB DFS. I have had plenty of success in it. If you need a credibility check, I do have my RotoGrinders DFS profile. That's linked below in the description. You can check that out. You can see all the results and stuff. I just do that for leaderboards and, you know, to ensure that I am providing you guys with quality content and the fact that I have, you know, a reputation and some credibility. You know, there's some results to go behind all of my advice. So doing my best to pass that on to you guys, help you guys become better MLB DFS players, help you guys become better DFS players overall. And hopefully this video helped you with that. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then leave some feedback in the comments. If you have any questions, further questions about the breakdown, something that I maybe didn't touch on that you're curious about, feel free to ask me down below as well. And yeah, guys, keep grinding. It is possible to win these tournaments. Maybe it'll be you in the next one. Take some of the things that you've heard in this video, apply them to your MLB DFS lineups, and get to the top of the leaderboards.